A pleasant morning, afternoon and evening to all. My name is Djesse Grootscholten. Welcome to the Zakelijke Podcast, the podcast for, by and with entrepreneurs. Today a very special episode, our very first in English, because we have a very special guest as well, Raluca Mihu. Raluca runs Synchromind, a company that has the goal to help synchronize your business mind to your heart and soul. Through Synchromind, she also works as an interim CTO and security specialist, and she has done so for several companies already. But these days, her focus is on raising awareness about mental and holistic wellness in the business world. Raluca, welcome.
Thank you, Jesse.
How are you?
Thank you for inviting me. Good. Looking forward to discussing such important topics for me today.
Yeah, me as well. So why are these subjects so important to you?
They're very important, close to the heart, because me, myself, I've been in IT for 23 years, and I've been through a few burnouts. And then the way companies dealt with it, it was not for my best interest.
No.
And that is why I decided in 2014 to start to go down this path, to train myself as the practitioner of different methods. And then once I've learned, I applied, I saw that it works, then why not help others as well? Because one of the things that you're being asked when you do these courses is who is your target audience? And then I said, my people, my fellow IT people.
Yeah. Okay, and what type of methods do you practice to reach these, well, quite complicated goals?
Yeah, there are different exercises. I personally like simplicity. It's one of my life's purposes as well, to teach simplicity. And it's very simple, 1 minute, 2 minute exercises, but there can be also exercises that can take hours.
Okay.
One of them, I accidentally stayed in the exercise for 2 hours until my phone rang. So then I realized, you can actually do this for longer.
And what is the exercise?
The exercise, it's a mantra called Who Am I?
Okay.
And you basically ask yourself, who am I? And of course, first you start with the obvious, I'm a woman, I'm busy, I'm this. But as you get deeper and deeper, you access on a more profound level who you truly are.
Okay.
And you can go towards infinity.
So, if I understand correctly, through these exercises, you do not only do the obvious stuff, but you get through defining characteristics such as I am creative, I am kind,
Absolutely.
I am patient or
Yeah.
impatient.
Yeah, I'm compassion, I am kindness, I am self-love. And you get to know yourself on a much more regular basis, deeper basis. And then because first you need to love yourself, get to know yourself,
Okay.
be comfortable with yourself. Then you can start interacting with others and fix your other problems.
The specific examples that you just raised, as well as your explanation for them, also make me feel like it's a bit affirmative. It's almost like affirmations as well, right?
Definitely. It's definitely an affirmation. You could turn the exercise into I am good enough.
Yeah.
So, and you could say, who am I? I am enough. I am good enough, depending on the context. I prefer the short version. And you could repeat that exactly as a mantra.
All right. It's
Yeah,
very
and
interesting.
this is an exercise you could easily do at work, because this is the purpose of your podcast. How do we bring this in the
into
business?
people's work life? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. That's funny. So, what are currently the developments in your field of work and in Synchromind? Because we've talked a few times, and you do so much different stuff that what's currently going on?
Yeah, so in Synchromind we have 4 main pillars. Some are more advanced than others. One of them is raising awareness on security and privacy. Because if
Very
you're...
important.
Exactly. So it starts from that. When somebody comes to therapy, what you want to do is to ensure a safe environment. But it's not only about therapy. It's about life itself. So we are creating some games. So we have a gamification. We call it actually playfulness pillar, where we create games. So we have created the GDPR game where we are teaching people. It's a normal deck of cards when we are teaching basic notions of GDPR.
And for the people watching the podcast, because it's also on YouTube, you can see it by the cactuses over there.
Yeah, thank you. And the idea is also to be used as a cheat sheet. So all our games are meant to be used in multiple ways as well. Yeah, because what we've put there are the articles that get the most fines.
Okay, so it's almost like a Swiss knife in the sense that you can use it for different purposes.
Yeah, thank you for the comparison. I love it.
Cool.
And then we are working on a data privacy for kids and for teenagers, because that is a big topic.
I mean, in this day and age of TikTok and Instagram.
Apps, exactly. And as you know, not all of them have age limits, so they are real traps. Yeah. So, and these games are actually meant for companies to give as a gift. So they're corporate gifts.
Cool.
Yes, because it has multiple meanings, in the sense that as a company, you want to give the gift of knowledge, the gift of playfulness, the gift of relaxation with your family. So was an important key part for ourselves. And also, if you look on the market, when it comes to corporate gifts, the options are quite limited still.
Yeah.
So that was one. So
we've already always had the chocolates and the bottle of wine, and you know.
Yeah, and it's funny because I don't drink wine. So many times I am grateful for the gift, but my partner benefits from it.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, it's something different, some different food for thought.
Cool.
That's pillar number one. Pillar number two, it's mental health. And we, as you were saying in your intro, we are helping people connect their business mind to their hearts and souls. And in order to do that, we have to give tools. And to give you an example, IT people don't really like, many IT people that I work with don't like the breathing exercises. They just don't like them. So then we have to bring different types of exercises into that environment. But there should be something for everybody. So we are building some mental health bots that are helping people, coming towards people, giving them the exercises. And it's kind of like a machine learning based tool, in the sense that as you rate it more, it's like YouTube. Like on YouTube, you give it a like.
Yeah.
And you get more like
it
that.
It personalizes towards your...
Exactly. It personalizes your experience, your exercises.
Cool. And in what ways do the bots present themselves?
They are in different channels within the company. So it's, again, a corporate product.
Okay.
The company offers it, but one of the key parts of it is that the people accept the invite.
And it can be in a CRM or an ERP system, or...
It's in the communication tool.
Okay.
It's in a communication tool, kind of like a assistant. Like a secretary, that instead of telling you which appointments you have, it tells you time for an exercise. And people can configure how many exercises they can request. I want an exercise now, I have a break, give me an exercise. It can be scheduled or not.
Very customizable.
Yes. But again, the key part and we insist on this one, is that people sign up. The company is offering it, but people accept the invitation.
Okay.
Because you cannot start to do the work with people who are not ready to change.
Nope.
That's the key part of change.
I wholeheartedly agree. Yeah, I've noticed that both in myself and the people around me.
Yeah.
And then when you are ready to change and when you make those steps, it can go quite fast as well.
Yeah, exactly. Because once the ego has accepted, once the mind is at rest, then the heart does the work very quickly.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Okay, so those are the two pillars so far.
There are two more we are working. We are still prototyping. We are trying to do some, I would not call them jewelry, but pendants, crystal-based, to defocus, to help focus, to de-stress. So kind of like I don't know if you know, many crystals have those powers.
Properties, yeah.
Yes. So
I'm not really well versed into it, but my ex-girlfriend was really into those, and some people around me, and I do believe in it to a certain degree, but also I'm quite skeptical.
yeah, I mean, the thing is like with therapists. Some therapists can help you, some don't. So you have to find the right tool that works for you. Just because something didn't work, maybe it was not the method, it was the messenger.
Yeah. Okay.
Or it was the exercise. So whenever people say, "Oh, I didn't work," I say, "Okay, have you tried something else?" Because I think it's important to try.
Exactly. I 100% agree.
Yeah.
Okay.
And another thing that I am a huge advocate, we shower our physical body every day or every other day, depending. But what do we do with our emotions? I think it's important we attend to our emotions with some regular practices.
Okay.
In the form of the exercises we suggest, but there are other exercises. So I'm not advocating necessarily for the tools we make, because there are many other great tools out there.
As long as you do
As
something.
long as you do something.
Okay. And what is the fourth pillar?
Humor.
Yeah,
so we are working on much more IT-related content, humor, again to raise awareness on security, on privacy, on a lot of best practices, because many times people are forced to go through the motions. IT is quite known for our inertia. And that's why with humor you can break that barrier.
Okay.
And get people to stop and think what they are doing, why are they doing, where are they going.
Yeah, humor is great in Dutch you say relativeren. I'm not quite sure what the English word is off the top of my mind. But to see things more in perspective.
Yes, to look at to look in different angles.
Yeah, that's cool. So what I am curious about is, well, two things. First off, what connects these four pillars?
All of them, the end result is to help you connect your heart to your heart to your mind, or the other way, the mind to your heart.
Okay.
All of them are tools.
That's loud and clear.
One is playfulness, one is humor, one is mental health, one is, let's say, physical.
And they all serve to make you better and feel better.
That's our vision. That is our vision. Our vision is to provide toolkits. And at the same time, to use these toolkits ourselves to become a company that is inspiring others.
So another thing that I noticed, which is quite funny, is it's quite spiritual.
Yes.
And off the top of my mind, spirituality and IT don't necessarily match, because IT people are often quite logical and not emotional. Or is that exactly why you...
So let's take the word spirit. Has IT in it?
That's true. That is true.
So we are already in it.
Yeah.
And now if we go towards spirituality, it's just about looking on a bigger picture of why are we on this planet? What is our purpose? And there are various tools that you can use. For example, in Synchromind, we use gene keys. It's a variation of human design combined with I Ching. It's a much more simplified version. And we know what is our hologenetic profile, what are the genes we were given, what are the purpose, the life's work, the evolution, the radiance. There is also a skew in the gene keys profile. And we kind of have guidance on how to go towards the next step in our evolution. So we have a coach that is every 8 weeks we get together as a team.
Okay.
And we do that. We also have blessing ceremonies when we launch a product. And I think it's very important when you buy a product that let's talk very simple. You go to a restaurant. And if the person who cooked the food was miserable and just dumps it on the plate, you will see it as a customer. You will taste it as a customer. It will not be a pleasant experience for you.
I do actually believe that, even though logically I don't believe that, but I know for a fact that's true. Or, well, rather, I know that the opposite is true. I know when food is prepared with love and care,
Exactly.
that you can 100% taste that.
Exactly. And to make another parenthesis, when you go to a restaurant, you hope that the person who's cooking made sure that the food is not expired, it's from a good source, and so on.
Taken
so
care of.
Behind a dish, there's much more than just cooking it with love.
It's greater than the sum of its parts.
Yes. And this is the same in IT. It's the same with the product. It's not only about the product, it's how secure is it? How private is it? When you built it, did you build it arguing? Somebody was screaming at you to deliver? And believe me, it's still happening in IT a lot.
Oh, not just IT, I bet.
Yeah, exactly. So, and the customer feels it. And where does it feel it? On the spiritual level. Because he can't feel it on the mental level, because he's not involved in there. He's not on the heart level, because heart is not yet connecting to the product. That's where he's feeling it. And that's you're like, I don't like it, but I don't know why I don't like it.
Yeah, exactly. There's just this feeling you can't shake, but you can't rationalize it either. That's funny. I can believe that when something is made under these circumstances, that it influences the products in ways that maybe cannot be seen, but felt. So, Raluca, how did Synchromind start? Because I know for a fact that you have quite a special story yourself, your personal journey. Would you like to tell us a little bit about that?
I was actually early in my career, I was a freelancer as well. And I found that when you freelance, you expend so much more, because you decide to spend how much you want to pay for your education, how much you want to spend on your education, and which projects you want to take. And you get a lot of variety. And I like that. I
same
like
here.
that. Yeah, exactly. So then I was an employee for a while. And again, I saw these limitations. It might work for others, but it didn't work for me. And especially, I told you, burnouts. And I noticed the company takes accountability up to a point where you need to take accountability. So then I said, I might as well take accountability.
For the full 100%.
Yeah. And actually, I wanted to call the company Synchro Heart.
Okay.
Yeah. Because the mind is fine. It's just the heart we need to use it more. In anatomy, when learning in school, we use 10-15% of our brain. The rest is still not used. What if that should to be used with the connection with the rest of our body? So that's one food for thought for today. So that's one of the reasons why I was doing it. But my brother said, it will scare people off because they're not using their hearts. So that's why I named it Synchromind. And another interesting thing to mention is that I started with my brother. And recently I've been preparing, I want to write a post about collaborations between siblings.
Okay.
Yeah. And how, because you see a lot of family businesses and people, it's a family business. I actually find the family business, it's a plus, not a minus.
I mean, it has pluses and minuses, but it does have something romantic to it as well.
Yeah. And I think, there is that Jerusalem song. I don't know if you know it.
Not right now.
It's a huge, on TikTok, there's so many videos with it. And it's a brother and a sister collaboration. Wow. Yeah.
Duet. Yeah, that's cool.
No. So going back to your question to wrap it up, I wanted, again, the purpose to give the tools. I was at the point in my life where I already knew things. I still need to learn a lot. But the more we are, the more we evolve together. We share the knowledge, because in our tools, you can take the exercise, make it your own, or put your own exercises and share with your colleagues. So the interpersonal aspect, it's something crucial to build this business. You can't build it alone.
No, I 100% agree. If you want to create impact, they say if you want to run fast, go alone. If you want to run far, go together. And that's a quote that I quite like. Mm-hmm. So what is the way that you are currently creating that movement and the waves? You're doing the products. Do you also have other ways that you share your message with people?
Yeah, so we are going to sponsor DevOps Days Eindhoven.
Okay.
It's an event that is very close to my heart, because we talk about burnout, and it's the community. Back in 2013, DevOps was quite new.
Yeah.
And it's the community that embraced me. And I'm at the level where I can sponsor, and it's going to be in October this year. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to share with the DevOps community, and we have a meetup, our own meetup, where we play games as well. We're trying to reach out as well to people.
Well, that's something I'd also like to get into, because I am familiar with gamification, or playfulness is how you call it. Yeah. But can you maybe explain to the listener what it is exactly and how it works?
Gamification.
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically you take a rigid process, a rigid activity, and you make it fun through playing with it. So giving a gift like that has also, it's an invitation to play, but has knowledge as well. Yeah. But I will give you a different example. It's taking a product. Can you please give me a product? Let's try to do together.
Let's say a customer relation management system.
Excellent. So then you interact with the customer. So what do you want from the customer? Feedback, right? How is the relationship going? How is the product going? So there are a few ways to do that. And to incentivize them, you incentivize them through gamification. You give them badges. You are, you achieve the level of, let's say, baby talker. Yeah. And then you say you're a toddler talker. Yeah. So you can give different levels. The more feedback they give you,
grow.
Yes. The more the different badges, the different levels they achieve within your system. Another thing is you can organize customer panels, and in there to get them to vote. You'd be surprised. My team always,
especially if you add something like a prize.
Yeah, price. But how do you perceive these? Give them a poll, because Zoom allows you to give polls. There are other tools, Kahoot and so on.
Exactly. It's great for the learning as well. Yeah. Because when you add an interactive element, your mind is more likely to save it, especially if you're an autodidact, is what we say in Dutch.
Self-learning.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's something that I think we're going to see a whole lot more of in the future.
I think we should, because the thing is we start as children, right? And we play. And then somewhere along the line, one adult or a few adults stop playing. They tell you, stop playing. And it's like, why should I stop playing? I liked playing. So let's go back to the things that we like to do. Why do we need to do this with presentation and fancy? Let's just do it in a much more simple, creative, adapted to ourselves, to our organization, our style.
Yeah, and I think that is a movement that we are seeing right now that is actually taking quite a hold. You see it in everything needs to be an experience nowadays, because everything needs to be fun, and I don't think that's a bad thing at all.
It's a good thing to start with, but then you have to find the balance. When it's too much fun, it can become, you get to the other imbalance, too much heart, and not enough thinking. So you have to find, so it's about, I always say harmonizing. It's about harmony between the two.
Okay. Well, yeah, I can imagine that that's quite important. Also, that it's maybe not easy to achieve. How do you find the right balance? And maybe even more important, how do you know it's the right balance?
Through failure. Yeah, right? When we started to walk, we fell on our noses. Everybody fell, right? So failure, it should become the standard. And then how do you know? It's your heart knows.
That's funny. We had a coach the other day that gave the exact same example, because I also believe that failure is one of the most powerful learning tools, except it's not really failure, is it? It's just part of the process.
Exactly. And now let's look a little bit in history. I don't want to make the past look too bad, but in the 20th century, there have been two major wars, the biggest wars, and then you could not fail. Right?
Yeah.
So those generations, my grandparents, my parents, you could not fail because, it was a big deal.
Yeah.
Failure. But, I'm Generation X and X, Y, Z, Alpha now, right? We can fail.
We have the room to afford to fail.
Yeah, exactly. And we actually should fail. So I had, as a CTO, I had these goals for many of my team members to fail. And they had this is a bit funny, 5 failures a month. Why? Because with some, I really had to put a number because they were so against failure that I really had to give them a KPI. Because I really didn't, but they kind of had to do at least once a week, and it was hard. It was hard to admit that they failed.
Yeah. That's pride and ego.
Exactly,
right there.
But it's also society who tells you cannot fail.
True.
You have to be the perfect. It starts with you have to be the perfect child, perfect. Then at school,
the perfect student. Yeah,
exactly. Perfect partner, and then failure. It's not acceptable.
Except you need to fail to find out what your strengths and what your weaknesses are to actually build on them. Okay, so Synchromind is a very ambitious mission. Ideally, what does the company look like in 5 years? What have you achieved? What are the ambitions?
I want to do quite a few more games. And we have a very strong philanthropy part as well of giving. So there is a program.
Actually, you gave me this pack of cards, so that's a nice example right there. Thank you.
You're welcome. I really hope it brings a lot of knowledge to you. And I'm also starting. This is going to be very interesting. Sound interesting. In January, I'm starting a program to educate abused women and prostitutes. To come into IT.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
That's a really nice initiative. So one of my favorite rappers, Donald Glover, Childish Gambino, he, maybe 10 years back, he did also a somewhat similar initiative where he helped single mothers get into IT, because IT is not only a well-paying job, but it's able to be done remotely on your own time, which makes it ideal for people that are on their own or in a bad place. So how are you going to go about that? Because that's a really nice mission you got there.
Yeah. The thing is, as you know, I come from Romania. And I was very fortunate to have the right parents. My mother was a programmer. In Romania, it's very common for women to be programmers.
Really?
Very common. I finished computer science, and we were 120 in my year, but more than 60% were women.
Wow, that's so different than it is here.
Yes, because it's a different education system. It's more based on exams. No essay, no who's your mommy, who's your daddy. So it's basically on exam. And many girls study a little bit harder. Let me put it that way.
Yeah, I can believe that.
Yeah, so that's why when it is the admission is exam based, and that's it. nothing else. So then, you get there. But going back to this, I was very fortunate to have the right parents, and they gave me the right education. And I moved to Netherlands, and the Dutch people gave me a lot of opportunity, even to be on this podcast. It's a great opportunity for which I'm grateful. And then I thought, okay, but all the people that didn't have that opportunity, and then I thought, who are the people who didn't? And first came prostitutes. And then I'm also helping in Romania, how should I say, a home for abused women. So then I thought, okay, I need to teach them how to fish. So that's how it started.
I really appreciate that initiative, and especially how you put it, teach them how to fish. To put it back to the proverb, you can give them money, you can give them a hug or whatever, but you can also give them the tools to take care of themselves, the freedom that comes with...
For me, it represents freedom, because most of the abused women, they've been, under someone's foot.
It's mental as well.
Yeah. So the program is half technical, half mental. Not mental, emotional. So, and it's a 3 years program.
Okay.
First year, it's about learning. I want them to understand where we're coming from in IT.
Yeah.
So it's not, we're not creating users, we're creating thinkers. It's a huge difference. So I want them to understand the history of IT. How did we evolve from nothing to where we are now? And you can also, by looking at history, identify patterns and go foresee the future, and that you know which direction to go. So that's the first year. The second year, at the beginning, you play, because we have different specialties as testers, because there's a bit shortage of tester, as a graphic designer. So we have a few paths.
Okay.
Probably we will...
So that you can also zoom in on individual talents.
Yeah, exactly. And I want them to first try. So first 2-3 months you try.
I feel free to fail.
Definitely. And then you say, I want to go down this path or that path. And then again, we continue to do the emotional work. And then the third year is when probably I will try to get some internships. So you will continue to learn, but you will also be able to apply.
Yeah.
Cybersecurity will also be my passion, will be part of this program.
And we can use a whole lot more cybersecurity engineers in the year to come.
There's so many issues now that...
or ethical hackers or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, that's really good. And what are the challenges you currently face in reaching those goals?
Well, so a lot of these people do not have laptops, for example. Because they will, so I gave them laptops. I gave them a laptop to these ladies, and they will all use, and then they will make a schedule, so they will all watch me on the screen because I'm doing this remote, and then they will have hours when they can practice their own. Also we need safe space to have the therapy, because it's group therapy, but also individual.
Exactly.
We don't have a lot of space where in that location. I also have to reach out to the police here to see if there are any candidates, because first the program is in Romanian, but the output of it will be a framework that it will be in English, and then anybody in the world can download it, make it their own, and teach, in any...
It's an open source program.
Exactly,
almost.
It's an open source program.
Cool.
Yes, that's the whole idea.
Okay, that's really nice, especially because not only are you helping people, but you're allowing other people to help other people.
Yes.
And that way it can hopefully spread as a movement of
hoping.
positivity, and that's great. So, Raluca, there's a lot of things going on, a lot of ambitions. How do you function at the level that you're functioning at? What makes you tick? Do you have any routines or things that you do that keep you sharp or happy?
For sure. I have a lot of exercises. One of the things I am committed to is to the self-care. So that's crucial for me. And I think it's very important to organize yourself. I organize even the breaks. So a lot of people don't organize their breaks, and then they extend their activities, and then you pay the price. But I have a lot of exercises I go to.
Okay, that's good to hear, because it's very important part. It's personal development. Sure, you need to grow, but also you need to take care of yourself.
Yeah. It's like, they say in the airplanes, put your own mask first. I have to take first care of myself.
Yeah, and to have another quote, the coach we had last Wednesday said, everything that you give attention grows. So what do you decide to give attention?
It's that, and also what you send out. The message. If you send out a message of compassion, of gratitude, then it comes back.
It comes back to you.
It's the law of attraction.
Okay, that's good to hear. So, where does this passion come from in you? Why are these things for you as an individual so important? To help people like that.
Yeah, I think maybe it's a cultural thing, because I grew up in communism, and it was a bit of a different. We were kind of all going through the same collective trauma.
Yeah.
And we kind of had to come out together.
Yeah, you only had each other.
Yeah, because there was no Google back then. There was no YouTube, so we kind of had to help each other.
Okay, I can understand.
And I'm still set like that.
Yeah, exactly. And in that way, if more people had that, the world would be a nicer place.
Absolutely, but I think everybody has their qualities. Some are, we need people with other qualities as well. If we would all be helpful, then who would do the job?
That's 100% true. So, of all the things you've done so far, what are you most proud of?
My journey of self-healing. Yeah.
That's good to hear. And when is your mission complete?
Never.
I think that's the only right answer, honestly. I haven't gotten it before, but there is no finish line, is there?
I get that a lot, that question, when are you going to finish with this? And I'm like, never. It's once you start and you get deeper or wider, or whichever direction you want to go, you realize there's so much more out there. And you realize you can do so much more. And one of the things that in one of your previous questions, it just passed and I forgot to mention it. I think it's very important to live in the moment.
Yeah.
The more you are present in the moment, the more you can do.
So mindfulness is also a big part in
Absolutely.
the preaching and the teachings that you...
Mindfulness, awareness, where am I, who am I, what am I doing here?
Cool.
Am I the right person? Am I in the right place? Whenever you get, I'm going to give you another tool. At the end of the day, I ask myself 3 questions when I finish work. Am I happy? Did I bring value today? You understand the question. And did I maintain my integrity?
Wow.
If the answer is no, for 3 days in a row, for one of them, I'm out of there.
Something needs to change, yeah.
Yes, because my being will tell me.
Exactly. I usually ask myself, okay, what went well and what could have gone better? But this, I think I like this more.
Yeah, because especially when you get to a leadership position, there are certain rules you have to bend. And you can bend them up to a point where for me, the integrity is crucial.
Wow.
Because it hurts my being.
Exactly.
It helps the company, but it helps my being.
And that's not worth it.
No.
Okay, so before I ask you my final question, because we are approaching the end of the episode, I believe you had something of a promo code for the listeners of this podcast.
Yes. Yeah. So the promo code is DZP 2022. And you can go on www.synchromind.eu/shop And we have, you can apply that to get a 20% discount.
That's great.
Yeah.
And what's in the shop?
In the shop are the games, and we also have some packages, gift packages with the GDPR theme, with badges and
Great.
keychains.
So if you're listening this and you run a company, but your employees are lacking when it comes to how they handle data and privacy, this might be a really good one for Christmas.
Definitely. But not only Christmas. After Christmas comes Blue Monday.
Yeah.
You know, I
there's
think
always something.
You're always gonna get
There's never not a reason to give a gift.
Exactly. And this is an opportunity to express gratitude. And from neuroscience perspective, your brain lights up when you receive gratitude,
That's
not
true.
when you give it.
Exactly.
So I think when people receive it, especially something that they are not aware of, I think they're going to be happier.
Enough reason to go to your website.
Yeah.
So we always close off the episode with a piece of advice to our listeners. What would you like to advise them?
To play. As much as possible. Go back to your roots, which is, we started as kids. We should continue as such. Don't wait till you're old.
No. All right, great. Well, thank you, Raluca.
Thank you, Jesse.